Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video, we'll be taking a closer look at my favourite warband, the Corvus Cabal.
The Corvus Cabal, awesome set, and this is the first Warcry set I bought, and I've already unboxed it and built all the miniatures ready for the video. You can see on the back some amazing images there. The Strike Talon, the Shadow Piercer, which are perhaps my two favourite miniatures at all time. I really love this set. In the box you get the instructions, and they're pretty straightforward to build. A couple of fiddly bits, and quite fragile as well, especially with the Shadow Piercer, with the bird there. That's very fragile, so just take care of that while you're building that one. You get the fighter types and the abilities cards, and like most of the Warcry sets here, you're going to get all the different languages, so we can put those to one side. So we'll go with the English one, and this shows us all the different ones: the Shadow Piercer, the Strike Talon, the Kabbalist with Familiar, Kabbalist with Spear, Kabbalist with more close combat weapons, and then the Spire Stalkers, and then we've got their Corvus Cabal abilities on the back, and we'll have a closer look at these when we go through each of the miniatures. And here are the cards, the fighter type cards. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. You get 2 duplicate cards, and you'll certainly need these for the Kabbalists and Kabbalists with spears. And then altogether you've got 9 miniatures with some spares, choosing on how you kit out the Kabbalists. So in the original core book we get a quick description and introduction to the Corvus Cabal, and there's lots to find online. And what I really love with Warcry is that there's plenty of room for you to add your own characteristics to each of the individual fighters, backgrounds, personalities, name them, and really personalise the whole warband. Let's read through the introduction to the Corvus Cabal. The Corvus Cabal are murderers and shadow stalkers that dwell atop the mesas of Carrion Reach in Ulgu. They worship an aspect of chaos they call the Great Gatherer, a patron of cutthroats and thieves, typically depicted as an immense black-feathered prey bird hunched atop a nest of bleached bones, a pile of stolen treasure glittering beneath its talons. No Corvus warrior can end a hunt without a fitting trophy to offer the Gatherer. Those that fail to do so are cast from the highest peaks of the Reach. The Corvus Cabal believe that Archaon is an avatar of the Gatherer, and that his endless wars of conquest will satiate their deity's bottomless avarice, and so send their most lethal killers to earn the Ever-Chosen's favour. The Corvus raise their shrines across the wastes of the Varan Spear, stringing razor-thorn trees with the corpses of their victims, alongside offerings of trophies and looted war gear. Pick clean the corpse. And if that's not an awesome introduction to Warband, I don't know what is. So once I get these guys painted, I'll be making a display piece, and then as we play through the campaigns and different battles with other warbands, as we take trophies from the victims, I'll be making little ones and attaching them to some kind of altar in the display piece. So that's going to look really cool. So that's the introduction to them here. As we flick through the book, we can see them all painted up, and it's a really nice paint scheme. And you can see them in action there, leaping around like lunatics, which is awesome. There we go. So let's get started, and I'll work from the Kabbalist with spears right through to the incredible Strike Talon and Shadow Piercer at the end. And here we go. So let's go with this card for the Kabbalist with spear, and this pose is just so cool. Here's the miniature. He's just walking and then takes a glance, checking out the enemy. It's so awesome. Look at that. So the Kabbalist with spear, they're going to be 75 points, a movement 5 they can take 8 damage, toughness 3. The range is 2 with 4 attacks, that's 4 dice, strength 3, dealing a 1 or a 4 on a crit. And the Kabbalist with Spear just gets the abilities that come with all the Corvus Cabal fighters. So we look at their faction rune mark there, and it shows us that they can, on a double, they can use the Raven Dart. And with this ability, they have to pick a visible enemy fighter within 8 inches of this fighter and roll a dice. On a 3 to 5, allocate 1 damage point to that fighter. On a 6, allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to the value of this ability. If you're rolling 5s and double 5s, double 6s, this could be a good ability to use for sure. They also get, with a quad, Death from Above. And again, this is for all the Corvus Cabal fighter types. They can all do the Raven Dart on a double, and they can all do Death from Above on a quad. With Death from Above, the fighter makes a bonus move action. Then they can make a bonus attack action. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of that attack action if the fighter finished the move action 3 inches or more vertically lower than their starting position. So you can see right away this tactic is, with the Corvus Cabalist, to get them jumping up onto the terrain and leaping down on the enemy, pecking away at them from all different angles. I think that's such a cool ability. And then, you know, you've got some of them throwing the darts, you've got some jumping down, or from different angles in a big melee. I think it's going to be awesome fun. So the quad and the double, the Raven Dart and the Death from Above, that's for all the Corvus Cabal members. Okay, so that's the spear, the Kabbalist with the spear, and then this is another model I chose to give a spear as well. That's a really cool pose. Next we've got the Kabbalist, and there they are with their close combat weapons. And for the Kabbalist we've got 2 miniatures. Again, real good pose. It's all running in. This one's throwing the dart, which I really liked. So you could either choose to have a spear there, but I thought the dart looked really good. So that's our 2 Kabbalists. And so the Kabbalists are 65 points. They're movement 5. They can take 8 damage, toughness 3. And these guys have got to get up close, so it's 1 range, 4 attacks again, with a strength 3, dealing 1 to 3. So they take a little bit less damage on a crit with these. So with the spears, you see you get the extra range, and then you get the extra on a crit. Otherwise they're quite similar. Again, the Kabbalist ability is the same as the Kabbalist with a spear. On a double, they can choose the Raven Dart or a quad, Death from Above. Next we have the Spire Stalkers. And these are a lot more, 140 points. Movement of 5 still, with 15 damage, so almost twice as much as the Kabbalists. Their toughness of 4. They're up close again with 1 range, 4 attacks, strength 4, dealing a 2 or to 4 damage. So if you get a crit, you can give that extra damage. But on a normal 3 to 5, depending on how the strength matches up to the toughness of the opponent, you're going to be doing 2. So these guys are a bit tougher. Plus they get an extra ability. So let's check that out. Oh, actually, let's look at the models first. So here's the Spire Stalkers. Again, 2 really cool poses. You can just imagine these on top of like a cathedral, just waiting for the prey to come along and leap down. And this guy's got this cool claw, or Talon. Awesome. Right, so let's look at the ability here. So again, they get, every Corvus Cabal member gets the double Raven Dart and a quad Death from Above. But with the Spire Stalker, we're also getting on a double Swift Climb. And with this ability, until the end of this fighter's activation, do not count the vertical distance moved when this fighter is climbing. So here we go, another tactic that's encouraging the Corvus Cabal to get up into high ground and leap down onto the opponents. So this one's, you're not going to get penalised for that vertical movement, and that's really cool. So you've got to weigh up whether that's worth double the points. Would you rather have one of these, or would you rather have a Kabbalist with spear and a Kabbalist instead? Depends on the tactics and how you want to play. But if you're like me and just you like the way the miniatures look, and you want to make the most of all these abilities within a warband, then I think this really cool option to include. Now we have the Cabalist with Familiar, and this is another great miniature. Let's take a look. More of a chilled out pose, just waiting, about to let the Familiar fly off and do some harassing of the enemy. I love it, it's so good. So the Cabalist with Familiar, you're getting an extra ability, which we'll check in a minute. Only 60 points, so the lowest, the one you can choose, so the lowest point fighter type in the whole pack. And you're going to get 5 movement, 8 damage, 3 toughness. Again, if you want to use the weapon, up close, range of 1, only 3 attacks, only strength of 3, and only doing 1 or 3 on a crit damage to the opponent. So I think with this one, you're really looking to make use of this ability, which we will check out now. So we've got the double Raven Dart and the quad Death from Above. But with this rune mark here, we've got on a double is Harrying Raven. And with this ability, you pick an enemy fighter within 20 inches of this fighter. Until the end of the battle round, that fighter cannot make disengage actions. So I guess the tactics I could think of off the bat here is to keep the Kabbalist with Familiar way back behind the battle lines, send it in the Familiar to harass the enemy so that the Strike Talons and the other Kabbalists can keep pecking away at them and slowly taking away those damage points. So only 60 points. I think it's quite cool when you get this extra ability, and it just adds to the whole tactics of the game, which is going to be great fun. Now we've got just 2 models left. We've got the Strike Talon and the Shadow Piercer. And if I was to pick one out of the 2 as my favourite, it's probably going to be the Strike Talon. But it's a close call. So let's look at the Shadow Piercer first. And this is just so cool. And you can see like just a smirk on the face. Holding the Familiar. It's got the huge weapon on the shoulder. Such like a cocky stance. I love it. It's such a good model. And here's the fighter card. And now we're going up to 185 points with movement 5, 20 damage with a toughness 4. We're getting 2 of the abilities and 1 range. So up close with that weapon, can deal 4 attacks, 4 dice, strength 4, and that's going to give 2 to 5 damage, 5 on a crit. So we're getting 4 dice, which is nice, a little bit stronger, finally getting some higher numbers there, but not too much in the way of damage. But at 185 points, I don't think that's too bad. So let's look at these abilities. So like all the others, we've got the double on Raven Dart, quad Death from Above, got the Swift Climb. Sorry, no, it looks very similar. We've got the triple, so this is a new one, the Grizzly Trophy. So here we go. Until the end of the battle round, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of attack actions that have a range characteristic of 3 or less, made by visible friendly fighters while they are within 6 inches of this fighter. So this is supporting the troops, giving them extra add 1 to their attack characteristics if they're within 6 inches. So that's a good ability to have. And then the second one is Harry and Raven, and again this is the same as the Kabbalist with Familiar. So a couple of different tactics there to try, and finally getting some more damage being dealt there on the crit. So that's good. Right, now it's time for my favourite model, the Strike Talon. And this is just genius. I love it so much, it's so cool. It's just so crazy. We've got like stilts with big talons on there, talons on the fingers, all the trophies hanging off. You can just imagine the sounds coming off this as they jump into the battle from on the high terrain. So great. I can't wait to get these painted, it's going to be so good. But anyway, so let's get into the cards. So this is the fighter type card for the Strike Talon. So 185 points, so the same as the Shadow Piercer. We're getting a movement of 8, so those stilts are really giving some extra movement here, which is nice. Toughness 4 and can take 20 damage. We've got a specific ability to the Strike Talon to check out in a minute. And there we go, we've got the talons, one to range to attacks. They've got to jump in and get in close. They can do 5 attacks as 5 dice on a strength of 4, dealing a 2 to 4 if it's a crit. So this is better. So we're getting more movement, we're getting more attacks. Not too high on a 2 to 4, but not bad with 5 dice. And for 185 points, I think you get quite a lot here. But let's check out the ability. So we've got the double Raven Dart, quad death from above, and the Strike Talon gets another specific one on a triple called the Swooping Attack. This fighter makes a bonus move action. In addition, if the fighter finishes that move action 3 inches or more vertically lower than their starting position, they can make a bonus attack action. So it's quite similar to this, but only on a triple. So that's really good. So you could see, you get a few triples during the game, you could make good use of the Swooping Attack. And as we've talked about in previous videos, you get the 2 duplicate cards. So when you're playing the Kabbalist with Spear and the Kabbalists, and even the Spire Stalkers, you can use these. All up, I think the Corvus Cabal are an amazing warband. I love the tactics and the abilities, and just the look of the miniatures is incredible, and I can't wait to get these painted. Let me know what you think. Do you play the Corvus Cabal? Is this a set you're looking to get into the future? Hopefully if it is, then I hope this video's helped you to decide whether they're a good warband for you. I mean, I originally bought these just to paint and then just got completely hooked in the whole Warcry world. So I can highly recommend these miniatures. I'll put a link in the description below, so if you want to pick them up, you can follow my affiliate link to Element Games, and at Element Games you can save up to 20% on one Warcry. It doesn't cost you anything extra, in fact it saves you money, but the commission I would get helps to go towards making videos like this, and I really appreciate your support. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope it's helped you out. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.